an asset class that is starting to more frequently pop up in investor conversations. Mobile home parks is growing in popularity due to the recession resilient nature. My next guest will talk about why she's investing in mobile home parks and why you should be able to do it as well. My next guest, Ekaterina Stepanova, coming up.
Welcome to the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing Podcast, your source for real world strategies focused on creating long term wealth, cash flow, and financial freedom through real estate. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful real estate investors and thought leaders, we provide you the tools to succeed and to reach the lifestyle you always wanted. And now, your host, Dwaine Clarke.
Hello and welcome back to the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing Show. This is your host, Dwaine Clarke, and today we have Ekaterina Stepanova. She's a mobile home park investor and partner at M2K Partners. M2K is focused on acquiring and operating value-added communities nationwide. Ekaterina, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Dwaine. Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to have this conversation today.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It was nice talking to you before we started recording, kind of getting to know each other. Not too far from you. You're up in New York, and I'm in Connecticut, so it's good to meet another fellow investor nearby. But what you're doing is very interesting in the mobile home park spaces. I'm starting to hear more about that in conversations as I'm talking to different investors heading out of heading into a recessionary period and seeing some market cycles. A mobile home park has been doing very well, historically. But before we kind of get deeper into that discussion, can you kind of talk about your background and how you got started in real estate?
Well, sure. Dwaine, I got started as maybe most of the real estate investors who are now in a commercial space. I started small. I started with the rental properties. It was a turnkey property out in Memphis. And luckily, I'm saying now, luckily, I had the two subsequent evictions in the course of just 6 months. So I
Oh,
learned
wow.
really quickly, one door, one eviction, 100% vacancy. So
Hmm.
after that, I turned myself into learning more about commercial real estate because I thought never again. And I was looking at different asset classes and eventually stayed with the mobile home park niche. I liked that it was accessible to me based on it seemed like the competition was less. Of course, now it's very hot and everybody's talking about it, but also price point was more attractive and the barrier of entry was somewhat lower. And that was 3.5 years ago. Now it seems like everyone and their sister are looking to buy a mobile home park or to, so yeah. And so I started learning about people in the industry, talking to them more and learning from them. Not too many books on mobile home park investing. However, there are a number of podcasts. Now, of course, that number also grows. But I started with the Kevin Buff's podcast. I was listening to Jefferson Lilly. Then there was a conference that I attended as well. So that was a SECO conference, and definitely got very much attracted to that niche and to people in that industry as well.
Yeah, it definitely is so interesting because, like you had mentioned, like everyone and their sisters is now really talking about it now. But before, I think mobile homes had kind of like a bad rap as far as kind of when you initially think about it, you kind of think of really, low income housing and something that you just don't want to touch, and people want to kind of do more sexier things like multifamily and things like that most people
Mm-hmm.
are initially attracted to. But you're looking at it from a financial and investment standpoint, and as far as kind of what we've been seeing numbers, they've been doing very well as far as returns, and also been able to withstand maybe the market cycles. Can you kind of touch on the recession resilient aspects of the mobile home park industry?
Well, absolutely. Dwayne, as you mentioned, in- resilience to cycles. If you think about it, 20% of the whole America lives in mobile home parks. 20.
Mm.
Where would you go if the times are tough? You can downsize, you can move out of the single family home, you can move into apartment, you can move into condo. But then if the times are really truly tough, then where else would you go? So there is really, this is the affordable housing in its purest probably form, the
Mm-hmm.
best example. And the communities, talking about them having a bad reputation, I think now as more and more uh, professional operators enter the space, they're trying to bring communities at a much higher level of service to the customers, service level of just being a better, I guess, member of the community in general,
Mm-hmm.
being a better representation to the city, to the village, to the region where they are located. So, and this is a very simple example. If you were to go through a mobile home park community, I bet within the first couple of minutes, you will see someone coming out and asking you if they can help you, or is this something you need around here? Because you will be very surprised. And this is a very simple example of how actually safe most of the communities are, because people know each other, and just by the way they are located and situated, the homes in the communities, they will see everything that's going on in the park, and they see if any stranger is coming through, or the car that doesn't belong there is passing by. So that is, communities are actually very safe. So
Mm-hmm.
and I think that reputation now starts to change, and as more investors enter this space, they also get to witness this firsthand as they start visiting communities, because now they're prospecting, they're going around knocking on doors, and I think they're learning that community is actually very safe. The residents really pay attention. They will call the manager, they will call police, they will attract attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you will also notice how investors, if they previously were thinking about, let me just purchase the community and just cash flow it, now, because of the added attention to the industry, now they feel also the pressure to step it up, to really reinvest back in the communities and do better job there as owners and as managers. So and that allows not only um, serve greater number of people, but also people who are, due to any hardship, who by choice downsize and go come to live in the communities. They don't feel bad about that choice, because
Mm-hmm.
now it's more of a um, can be conscious decision. Now they just select which community they will want to go to, and now there are more financing programs for homes. So and there are beautiful, absolutely beautiful mobile homes, double wides, triple wides, that they can make a selection from. So I think this industry and that real estate niche is definitely getting, just really flourishing into something more and more beautiful as time goes.
Yeah, that's a very great point because you had mentioned kind of like as more investors are starting to get more involved in it, and like your company, you guys are, kind of known for, doing very great upgrades and doing a lot of, good property management and doing just a lot of service oriented things. So then while more people kind of get a better reputation, that is not more of, less, it's a mobile home park, but it's actually just another alternative housing choice. And as
Absolutely.
rentals is becoming more prominent in the industry, as people are kind of not going back into home ownership, but they're going to mobile home parks as another option. That's becomes a whole new reputation there. So that's a very good point. So kind of going to your point with your investment model and investment criteria, can you kind of talk about the markets that you guys focus on, why you like them as you market, some of the characteristics that make it attractive?
Sure. Well, Dwayne, something that you touched upon, which is an excellent point, home ownership. How this is probably the most affordable form of home ownership that you can imagine. Where else could you own your own uh, home that you can potentially take anywhere you would like with
Mm-hmm.
you, and have your own space, have your own little backyard for such an affordable price. It's just really unheard of. And I think this is an incredible opportunity that now is being offered. Well, that's been offered now. It has just more varieties and more options to it of home ownership. So we're happy to do that. And talking about markets, our team, M2K Partners, we invest pretty much all over United States. And many people will say that is a rather interesting. Why would you do that? And I would say this, we're just very selective in the type of deals that we do. First of all, it's only turnaround value add deals. We don't really do turnkey deals. We are looking into maximizing value per unit rather than the number of units that we own. So I
Mm-hmm.
think this is a big difference between us and maybe our industry colleagues, some of the industry colleagues. It's really we focus on purchasing one great deal, maybe a couple of great deals a year, rather than just buying hundreds of lots every year.
Mm-hmm.
And this depends really on a investment model, but this is ours, and this is what we've been successful with. So we own currently in the partnership, we own parks in Alabama, in Florida, Michigan, Arizona, and so it's totaling of, I believe, 7 communities at the moment, and we are about to purchase a couple of more this in the next month or so. So we would then extend our reach to Ohio and Texas, which is very exciting. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this is rather wide, but I think the key to being able to execute this, you just have to have the right team in place, and you have to think about those things in advance. And we're lucky to have, I guess, the right team. We divide and conquer, so we have each team member responsible for their own sets of projects. For example, my partner Matt Battinger, he's sort of specializes. He knows, he has experience in infill projects and different ways of bringing in homes to the community. And we've done such projects as utility submetering, even including electrical submetering, which some of the investors will never touch. But
Mm.
we just successfully completed that project in Michigan, in one of the communities in Michigan. Of course, water submetering, that is quite popular in the industry, so we've definitely done that. But also just a major infill project, so we are able to do this within our team. And I guess that is just what we looking for, and looking for just for really strong deals.
Mm.
And the probably the only thing that we will stay clear of is just economy. If the economy is not strong or is declining, we're not going to go in that market. And probably if this is a smaller park, that it won't be able to support a proper on-site management. And as you probably, your listeners also can understand also from now, from listening to your podcast and other real estate podcasts, if you are investing out of state, you definitely want to have a strong property management on site, and smaller property just won't allow you to support that. So with
Mm.
that, we are looking at 50 spaces plus, and just wanted to be in an economically strong area, and probably we just won't do lagoons. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
everything else is a go.
Mm. Yeah, I like the kind of your approach you had mentioned, because some people are, some investors are like, they need, like tons of units in order for it to make sense, but you guys are just looking at ways you can guys can add value, and then just kind of make the best of that park and just bring as much value to the residents as well as your partners and investors. So that's
Absolutely.
that's like definitely the key there. And then of course being very selective on the markets that you choose, and just kind of taking at it from like a slow methodical pace rather than just kind of doing things just in order for to make money. So I like that as well. Can you kind of talk about your process of finding deals? I know like you had mentioned 20% of people are are in mobile home parks, and I also see that talking with previous investors as well, that a lot of the owners are kind of like mom and pop that don't kind of have like a real strong management presence or value add component, and you guys come in and kind of do things completely different. So can you tell us how you guys find deals and how are you able to search these things?
Sure, no, absolutely. Well, Dwayne, that was one of the things that got me attracted to this real estate niche. Is my background is in marketing and advertising. So when I
Mm-hmm.
was getting started, I was just marketing directly to park owners. So we do the same thing now. It just looks a little different. Previously, it was a lot of direct marketing, and now it's more of a calls and sometimes, when possible, visits.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely marketing has changed since more and more people are flooding this niche. And it's mostly through our direct, well, all of our deals so far, they've been through directly sourced from park owners.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then otherwise it may be well, we purchasing now the second park from one of the owners who previously sold us in Michigan. Now they're selling to us again in Ohio. So I guess there's just still direct marketing. This is our approach right now. And I'll just want to mention something for people who looking, who may be listening to this right now and who looking to enter mobile home park investing arena. Even if you talk to biggest MHP brokers, they will tell you, if you're just getting started and you don't come with a lot of previous commercial real estate experience or a lot of money, the best way for you is to go source at least your first deal yourself, because because of the competition is such, they won't be able to accommodate you or give you enough attention. There are just
Mm-hmm.
simply not enough time in the day. And you better off sourcing your first park and just maybe over the time refinancing or rolling it out into then something greater and bigger. So then the brokers will be able to assist you better because they know you've done the deal, you can close, you can perform, and you have cash on hand to handle the projects and put the down payment. So yeah, that's
That's a really
probably
great point because it's kind of like a big thing with the multifamily industry as more and more investors got involved in it, and then these sellers and the brokers only want to deal with people that they know can close, and then you're dealing with like multiple bids and things like that. And I would imagine years ago you probably would be able to kind of enter into the space and just deal with getting a deal now. But even I'm seeing now large institutional investors are getting into the mobile home park space, so they're really tightening things up. So getting your first deal or first couple deals to get some transaction history and to get some credibility in marketplaces. Going directly to how you guys have been doing it, in touch with the sellers, which getting off market deals, I would assume are the better deals than going through the traditional process with a broker. So that's some really great points there. And as far as kind of like we had talked about, you guys are starting to build like a network of meetups and educational seminars and webinars and things like that to inform people like me and people that are listening onto the show that are interested in alternative asset classes and want to learn more. Can you kind of talk about what you guys been doing as far as like your meetup groups and educating new investors into the space?
sure, sure, absolutely. Well, Dwayne, I will be happy to, because this is my passion project, and this is one of the ways I personally uh, how I feel like this is how you pay forward. I when I just got started in the industry, I had someone help me and really guide me through evaluations, and even Charles D. Hart from Sunrise, formerly from Sunrise Capital, and now he's a broker with Marcus Milachev. He spent hours and hours and hours with our team, just kind of helping us to get our footing in the industry. And I just feel sort of obligation to to help others who come and are interested in this niche. So with that, 2 years ago, I started the meetup, which turned into virtual meetup where anyone who is interested in mobile home park niche investing can come in monthly. We have guests, and it's called MHP Tribe. So anyone can come and
Very
find
cool.
us on Meetup or Eventbrite. There is also a group on Facebook, MHP Tribe. So, and then during COVID, I thought, you know what, just not enough communication and touch with the community. So I started weekly calls with the community, and now we have mentors, people who are experienced also in mobile home park business, who operators who own several parks, who come and they also help me guide newbies through the challenges of turnaround projects, of evaluating parks, of sourcing financing and things like that. So we have amazing